The street-side gloom in Barnsley town centre is well matched to the mood behind the shutters. Carl's business is hanging on, but only just. He now relies on online sales and government support, but survival's still a fine line.
As long as I can keep a high street presence, I will. But I think if there was no grants available for the high street, then I would be closed, like many have.
Many businesses here are council tenants. Many needed this help, but support has come at a heavy price. At least £19.7 million has been lost by English councils supporting their business tenants, such as with rent holidays, and a further £5.8 million as a result of company voluntary arrangements, or CVAs. These allow failing firms to renegotiate debt, in this case rent, to avoid insolvency.
The fear is that losses sustained so far will only scratch the surface of those still to come. And all of this comes off the back of 10 years of austerity and cuts. Places like Barnsley already have fewer libraries, fewer family centres, fewer street services. Many say there isn't much left to cut.
Losses here were the worst in the country, £2 million by mid-November alone.
Libraries being closed.
The council leader says more pain is probable.
Over 10 years, we've made about 120 million because of the cuts. Next year, we have to find another 7 million. So just when we thought we were getting out of austerity, things were beginning to bottom out, COVID's come along. The only way you're going to deal with that, if the government doesn't come up with more money, we've got to cut services in order to meet that gap.
And it's communities who'll suffer. Charlotte's charity receives funding from the council to support some of Barnsley's most vulnerable families. A vibrant place with a vital role where small cuts make big differences.
It's a bit like playing Jenga. You can take a few away, families survive. But if you take enough of those little slithers of support, it collapses. We go back to a time where unemployment is normalised. We go back to a time where people are solely reliant on benefits. We go back to a time where people are living in poverty.
Are you worried about the next few years?
Hugely worried. We are a pretty resilient crew around Barnsley. You know, we've been through quite a lot, but you can only chip away so much.
Given the importance of funds, there's anger too over CVAs. Some say large companies are using these insolvency arrangements unnecessarily to reduce their rental rates.
They are taking advantage of the legislation and the way it's currently framed in order to tear up leases, walk away from obligations freely entered into at our expense.
In health terms, we may be nearly through the worst, but the economic crisis is just beginning, and crippled companies have consequences. Helen Ann Smith, Sky News in Barnsley.